Welcome back. Welcome back. It's your favorite sports podcast, the Fan Wire Podcast, with your host, Delano. Hey, we will be talking about the Unrivaled Basketball League, the women's 3-on-3 basketball league that debuted last night. I tell you, I was thoroughly impressed. I was thoroughly impressed. Like, thoroughly impressed. It looked great. It looked elegant for a basketball court. I'm going to show you what the court looks like in a second. Everything looked good. It was on TNT. Production was top flight. There may be one or two things that they could have fixed here and there with the coloration of different camera angles and, the cameras being on in the right place at the right time, with a little movement. But it's a very new league. They built it from scratch. So I don't expect it to be perfect, but it was really, really great. It was really good. Top flight. Absolute, without a doubt. So let's talk more about what is Unrivaled as a league, and then we're going to jump into what happened during the games. All right? So the Unrivaled Basketball League is not on your traditional basketball court. Everything looks the same. However, in this particular court, it's not the traditional size of a WNBA court because they're only playing 3-on-3 and it's full court. So if they had a huge court or a normal size court, it wouldn't look so good. And the play wouldn't translate as it did or as it does. The games are played on a 49.2 foot by 72 foot full court. So for comparison's sake, the WNBA games are played on a 94 by 50 court. All right. So with the way that this particular court is set up, it's set up more in the tradition of an Olympic 3-on-3 basketball court. Okay. The Olympic 3-on-3 half court is 36 feet by 49 feet. Right. So you just double it and you got the Unrivaled basketball court. So it looked really, really good when the teams were playing full court. It didn't take long to get the ball, to advance the ball. So even I had concerns about if a team wanted to put pressure on an opposing team as if it was on a regular full court. It presented problems in my mind because it just seemed like if someone pressed, it could just leave a team wide open for fast breaks, right? So with that being said, it's the perfect size for everything. So they can still press the ball, they can still get out on fast breaks, and it doesn't take time. It's the speed of the action is so fast. It keeps you engaged, and they play tough. I mean, they play harder than I believe they play harder in Unrivaled than they play in the WNBA. And I love the WNBA action because to me, they play like 90s basketball from the NBA. Rough and tough. Throw somebody, elbow somebody, push somebody, but they still are effective in the game. So this game is built for fast pace. It's also built, you can still do your traditional plays like your pick and rolls and other actions like that. I am highly impressed. So let's talk more about the facilities that these ladies have made sure that they have. They have a state-of-the-art weight room. They have a glamour room, content creation rooms. So they pretty much have everything a lady in basketball needs. I love it. I love it. Do your things, ladies. put that pressure on the WNBA. Because some more things we about to talk about, they applying pressure on the WNBA. Because if you didn't know, the WNBA and the players no longer will have a CBA. That's the collective bargaining agreement. Those are all the rules and regulations to how people get paid, people get traded, people sign, all kind of things. So that agreement is being torn up and reworked based on all this new money and new acclaim and new fame coming into the game. So they are about to be, this negotiation period has went up a whole new level. I can tell you that. All right. Additionally, they have personalized chefs or a personalized chef in the arena. What? Now that is fine. On top of that, and on top of getting good eats for the mothers that are participating in this Unrivaled Basketball League, these women are also granted a professional nanny to keep the kids. They ain't got to worry about the kids. They ain't got to worry about the food. They get all glammed up, look all nice while they playing. And then after, they get facials and all that good stuff. All right. I think it's good for the ladies. Good. Do your thing, ladies. Do your thing. All right. So with content creation rooms, that means that they have a facility better than this, what I got going on here. But, they can continue to maximize all of the things that they would have to do outside of the arena in the arena. So they can focus more on playing ball and improving and getting better. All right. So additionally, on top of all that, the players are also housed in a 2-bedroom apartment at no cost. Really? Winning. How many of us would love to have no cost accommodations to live in? Or however long. Right. All right. They also are provided with rental cars. I tell you, this is shaping up to be all right. Shaping up to be all right. They applying pressure to the WNBA. Unrivaled Basketball League is literally unrivaled. They have no rivals at this point. The WNBA just has a name and has been around for 20 years. They already kicking them in the teeth on day one. Wow. All right. So now let's talk about the game. How these games run. All right. So each unrivaled basketball game has 4 quarters, just like any traditional game, but the first 3 quarters are 7 minutes. Normal stuff, right? The first quarter has no commercial breaks, so it's just straight action, unless someone calls a timeout or something like that, right? All right. So in contrast or in comparison, the WNBA has 10-minute quarters. So these games are running faster. They have less ground to cover when they're running up and down the court. So it's just, more action-packed, all right? The fourth quarter, this where the fourth quarter, it actually gets going. So the fourth quarter is not timed, right? So you have whoever has the most points at the end of the third quarter, they add 11 points. Okay? So this also, whoever gets to that point at the end of the game wins the game. So for example, if the team with the highest score is 56 points and they add 11, that means whoever gets to 67 points wins the game. So that offers opportunity for a comeback, whether it's 20 down or 2, or if it's tied, it's the race for the next 11 points. All right? There will never be an overtime. So there's always a winner. So whoever gets those 11 points, if they're up, whoever gets to that 11 points on top of the total, they get the victory. And if you watched last night, you'll see how important it is to stay engaged, to lock in, and to know the game is never over until it is finally over. All right, so let's talk about the shot clock. Shot clock is traditionally 24 seconds in a WNBA game, right? So in Unrivaled, to keep the action flowing and keep it going, the shot clock is 18 seconds. Those 6 seconds can mean a whole lot. Things can get to going quick. You can't take your time. You got to get rolling. You got to get into your actions. You got to figure out what you're going to do and get to it. Also, with how short the game is and also how short the court is and how fast the shot clock runs, that means that each player has to be in tip-top condition. They have to be able to, sprint like it's no other, right? So, because you have to get back on defense, because in 3-on-3, if you're not playing defense, or if you're not a good defensive player, you will be exposed. You will be on the alley. You will be on Front Street. You might be on SportsCenter or something, or YouTube somewhere. Exposed. And even though, the WNBA is a totally different entity, they're watching. This is your resume on tape on how hard you play. So guess what? You have players that are auditioning for their next potential team right here at Unrivaled, right? And with that being said, you have alliances being made. This is almost like if we were watching Big Brother or some type of reality TV show. If it was 24 hours, it probably would be crazy. But they are actually auditioning for their next opportunity. So we'll see how this plays out, because you have players that are not traditionally playing with each other, and they're creating bonds with each other, right? So with that being said, you have the opportunity to create new super teams in the future, because with this CBA getting blown up, getting torn up, getting redone, guess what that means? You have new opportunities to get with totally new teams. And we'll talk about that in another video, because it is very important what is on the horizon when it comes to the WNBA according to the CBA, and how much pressure Unrivaled is putting on the table. All right, so let's keep on rolling. So let's talk about the fouls. We like to have a free-flowing game, but fouls are important. You got to slow people down. You got to send messages sometimes to be like, hey, we're not going to keep taking all these points off. So with that being said, the WNBA has 6 personal fouls, just like the WNBA. I'm sorry, Unrivaled has 6 fouls, just like the WNBA. Since the roster sizes are smaller and concise compared to a regular WNBA roster, and you only have 3 people playing at a time, it's more likely that those players might foul out, right? So in that event, those players have 6 fouls and they will foul out. But if the last player that's eligible to get in the game has 6 fouls and they continue to get fouls, they'll get a technical foul and the game keeps going. This game will not be called due to a disqualification under those circumstances. All right? Free throw shooting. Free throw shooting is just like any other thing. You shoot the ball, you get fouled, you get free throws. But in Unrivaled, you only get 1 free throw, no matter if you shoot a 2 or a 3. All right? All right. So, more additional great things about Unrivaled. You have an amazing new format that's coming, right? With Unrivaled, you have let's see here. 1 second. With Unrivaled, you have a one-on-one tournament. Yep, you have a one-on-one tournament. All right, and in this tournament, it starts from February the 10th. It's single elimination. Winner takes all. And the winner gets $250,000. $250,000. Goodness gracious. I know you wish you can get $250,000 playing one-on-one basketball, but I'm ecstatic that these ladies are able to get that reward for winning. All right. So with that being said, for the winner of the one-on-one tournament, their teammates, even though they might not be so good in the tournament, or they might be an early exit, or they could be battling their teammate during the tournament. Guess what? Each one of their their 3-on-3 teammates will also receive $10,000. When I say there's a lot of money transferring, it's a lot of money transferring. All right. So with that being said, along with talked about fouls already. So let's do this. We're going to talk about the payouts. So each player, they also get more than $100,000 for participating in the Unrivaled Basketball League. So to be able to get those type of margins for each player, because you have 36 players playing, they get $100,000, right? Unrivaled was able to raise more than $35 million to fund the Unrivaled Basketball League. Do you know what kind of work that takes to do? Do you know what kind of hustle that is, that grind that is? So you have multiple investors, right? Some of the investors that you can see throughout watching the games: State Farm, Sprite, Under Armour Ali, Sephora, Miller's Light. Tickets are being sold on Ticketmaster. I'm sure all of the printed material was done by Vistaprint. And of course, you can watch it live on TNT Sports. It's amazing. It's amazing. So there are also other sponsors, but they're doing their thing. All right. So key dates to keep in mind. So we missed the first one, the first one has already passed. Let me say it that way. That was the beginning of the regular season, and also they're playing in Miami. Welcome to Miami. I mean, they're playing it. Could you pick a better time, a better state, right? In the dead of winter, they're playing in Miami. All right. So on February the 14th, they're having the one-on-one tournament. I'm sorry, the one-on-one tournament ends. Okay. On March the 10th is the end of the regular season. And on March the 16th is the semifinals, and March the 17th is the championship. All right. So those are the key dates that we, just keep it in mind. If you need to make your schedule, make your calendar updates, keep in mind all the key dates. But I'm sure that you will be made aware if you're watching sports anywhere. But definitely, if you tune into the FanWire podcast with your host Delano, you definitely will be made aware of what's going on with the Unrivaled Basketball League. All right, so let's talk about the games last night between the Lunar Owls and the Mist. And these are, let me correct myself, these are not teams, these are basketball clubs, because they're not associated with any type of city or state, right? So they're basketball clubs. So you just get attached to who you like, who you rock with. You don't got to associate it with your state or your city, because, you know, some of us can be very territorial when it comes to our allegiance to our teams. So you can just like the club, like the players, you just keep it moving. So I thought to myself, that was a brilliant idea. You know, they're using a soccer approach here, right? But the Lunar Owls and the Mist were the inaugural game, the kick off, the tip off to all the action, all right? In this squad, you have the Fia Collier, you have Breonna Stewart, and a few other players, right? So the first shot in Unrivaled history was made by Stewart, Breonna Stewart. All right. It was really amazing to see what was going on, what transpired. All right. So Breonna Stewart didn't quite have the game I expected her to have. She shot 2 of 11. So she ended up with 6 points, but she made up for that lack of scoring in other ways. She had 14 rebounds. So she killed the defensive glass. She wiped it clean, right? But when it comes to scoring, Jewel Lloyd, Miss, I'm trying to get out of Seattle. I'm putting everybody on notice. You probably need a trade for me. Scored 30 points on 10 of 21 shooting. Then after that, Aaliyah Edwards of my hometown, Washington Mystics, had 10 points. Rickea Jackson had 15. And when I say she went on a stretch where she shot the lights out, she was crushing 3-pointers in I'm sorry, let me just say long distance shots, because all of them weren't 3-pointers. But she got cooking closer to the end of the second half. And, you know, she did her thing. Courtney Vandersloot, she was very productive in her role. And the one thing that I can say, that if you throw a lazy pass, or if you're not really focused in on being efficient, you will get turned over, because you don't have that many options to relieve you when you get in danger, or when you get into a problem, or if you over dribble, or if you pick up the ball. You don't have a lot of options to get the ball to. That is another key strategic thing when it comes to 3-on-3. You have to be locked in, or guess what? You might get turned over and it can become a quick fast break to the other end. All right, so let's talk about the Lunar Owls. Nafisa Collier did her thing. 27 points on 11 of 19 shooting. She had 11 rebounds, 10 on the defensive end. She looked like she was trying to lock up the MVP in one night. I'm just saying. Skylar Diggins killed it. Skylar killed it. And with that being said, when it comes to Skylar, she said, I don't want to say that part just yet. All right. So Alicia Gray had a great game. She had 15 points. Courtney Williams had a great game with 14 points. And Shakira Austin, she played in the game. All right. So Cameron Brink didn't play because she's injured, and they didn't add an additional player to the Lunar Owls. They may be doing it in the future. Who knows? We'll see how that goes. But let's talk more about the team production as a team. All right. So with the team stats, the Lunar Owls shot better from the field. They shot about 50%. And, you know, if you shoot well, it's a good chance the game will end well in your favor. Because if you didn't know, the Lunar Owls won the first inaugural game, and it was 84-80. All right. With that being said, the Miss, they crushed rebounds 42-32. But turnovers, you got to work on the turnovers. All right. So turnovers was 10, the Miss, and the Lunar Owls 7. All right. So let's talk about the image that you see right now. The image that you see right now is a celebration at the end of the very first game. You have Skylar Dickens that they okay, before we even talk about that, the Miss looked like they were going to run away with this game up until the third quarter. But when the fourth quarter set in, when you had to get to a score that was 11 points higher than the end of the third quarter, Skylar Diggins and Aficia Collier stepped up. They played like the vets that they are. And they willed themselves to a victory. And guess what Skylar did at the very, very end? Pulled up for the three and sealed the deal. Sealed the deal. So it was an amazing game to see, amazing game to experience. So I definitely want to see more. Definitely want to see more. So let's talk about this second game between the Vinyl and the Rose. All right. So the Vinyl and the Rose, they got some very notable players on this team. The Rose have players such as Angel Reese on the team, and you have Chelsea Gray and Kalia Copper, and Enrique plays for the Vinyl, and with Ryan Howard and Aaliyah Boston. There's a lot of good players on that team. And I'm going to double back at the end and talk about who's on the roster that was on the previous game. I didn't talk about that, but I'm gonna double back to that. But anyway, you have production was really good in this game as well. The Vinyl ended up pulling out the victory 79-73. And Angel Reese was a killer on the boards, 14 rebounds. She had 10 points, but she got to work on those turnovers and those fouls. She had 5 turnovers with 4 personal fouls, right? She got to do better with that. Kalia Copper, she crushed 24 strong points. She shot the 3 well. And then Chelsea Gray, the point guard, 21 points, 6 assists, 9 rebounds. That's a very complete game. She did her thing. But, it just wasn't enough in the end. The Vinyl, Enrique, I expected her to fill this point sheet up. I expected her to have 20-plus points. But she only had 10 points. I guess she just let everybody do their thing. But also, Ryan Howard set the tone. She had the hot hand, 10 for 19, 6 of 12 from 3 with 33 points. Mean. Aaliyah Boston, 7 rebounds. She was out there setting great picks so that Ryan Howard could get out there and do her thing. And Derica Hamby, 17 points, 11 rebounds, and hit the winning shot. So it was dope to see these teams do what they did for real. When it comes to rebounding, Tamika Hattie was a problem. Let's just say that. She was the head lady in charge. Let's just say that. All right. So let's talk more about these team stats. All right. So the field goals are very even, pretty much even. They shot a similar field goal percentage. So the Vinyl had a better field goal percentage with 46%. This game was very, very close in everything, all the statistics as a team. Yeah. The key was the Vinyl played better defense. Because all of these numbers are very comparable. Very comparable. When it comes to steals and blocks, that's where things changed. The Vinyl had 8 steals versus the Rose 4 steals. And blocks, the Vinyl had 5 compared to 1 with the Rose. So defense was the key to this game, along with rebounding. Those defensive rebounds were critical. And they had fewer fouls. So it was definitely a sight to see. And as you can see, they played rough and tough. It was no pity pat. They were not playing with each other. I love it. I can't wait to see the action today. Definitely will be reporting on it later. They played tough. They played hard. So they have a custom Wilson basketball for this league. And that's a nice looking basketball. Technically, I'm a Spalding guy, but that ball looked good. Gotta give you credit. The Unrivaled Basketball League is something to really take heed to. Keep your focus on it, because they are running the winner right now. They're running the winner. When it comes to who's on, let's double back real quick. Let's double back to who is on the Mist from the initial game. You have Breanna Stewart, you have Dejanay Carrington, Courtney Vandersloot, Jewel Lloyd, Aaliyah Edwards, Rakia Jackson, right? Great team. The Lunar Owls, Nafia Caller, Courtney Williams, Skylar Diggins, Alicia Gray, Shakira Austin. Yeah, these are some great teams. And these games are something to see. The production is great. They have fans in the court. They said that fans were lined outside in the rain to get in this game. Women's basketball is the future. It really is. And whether it's WNBA, Unrivaled, college basketball, it is the wave. Catch the wave. So today you have games that are being played at 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock. So the Phantom are playing the Laces, and the Lunar Owls are playing the Rose. So those games are going to be on True Network instead of TNT. And yeah, pull up, check it out, because it's about to go down. It's about to go down. So make sure that you tune into the games. Make sure that you subscribe. Take this second right here, right now. Subscribe to the FanWire podcast so that you can see more about WNBA and other women's basketball and local sports in the DMV. And make sure that you like the video so that, the algorithm can keep it rolling and keep us going. And also from there, make sure that you let somebody else know about what we're doing over at the FanWire podcast. Thank you for being a part of the family and the community. And from there, that's going to be it for now. And we're going to keep it moving. And we'll be right back at you real soon when it comes to Unrivaled Basketball and other things going on in sports. Till next time.